What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with Smackjaw. Castle level is a 14, so I'm going to run through it really quickly. Mention a couple of things. Basically the thing that I look for on these lower castles is to see if groups are skippable, or if you have, having a Pete Palmore out in front is okay, but it's almost better always to have him behind a wall somewhere so that you can't just initiate on him with whatever you want. As an archer, if I can just headshot this guy, he's probably down to half health or something. If he was behind a wall, I would have to aggro him with my face or whatever. Or an auto attack or something other than that to aggro him, which makes him kind of have a little bit more life, allows the person to possibly miss, stuff like that. Archers should be a little farther back in these corners. And then right here is the first thing that I always look for is skippable mob groups. It's one of the biggest things that happen with newer players, is you allow them to skip aggro, which is actually going to be easier to happen in open creation. It's going to be kind of difficult to get your sight correct while also aggroing the group. I'm not sure exactly how that's all going to work, but yeah, you don't want skippable mob groups. So I can skip one of these. I can choose which one I want to skip, and I can skip one that's 20 points out of your defense. When your defense is only, roughly 175, 145, I don't know what you would be at. It's a pretty big deal. This could be another one, but I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not. But again, these should be spread out a little bit more. I think you have extra points as well, where you could have one Snotter out in front, so that I can at least get aggroed here, and then he charges at me. And then you create some more distance between him and your archer. It's almost always good to have a Snotter out in front in almost every situation, if you have the points to do it. Alright, and then we have this Terror Raptor Overlord. Balance is going to get changed. I may actually start commenting on the strength of these bosses after the balance goes through when open creation comes out and they go through and they balance all of these bosses. I may actually start talking about how I feel about the strength of them in relation to other bosses and stuff like that. But in general, I don't really like to say that because the pre-made bosses are cool. I hope that they get to a point where they're all acceptably good. But yeah, we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up we have Raskull. Castle level is a 19, so jump into it on my knight. Alright, so this is an interesting group, because it has some DPS to it, but it also is kind of tanky because of that. What do you call it there? Robo-Shieldatron. Is there anybody who remembers when Robo-Shieldatrons by themselves were the best unit in the game? When I first started playing the game, well, not when I first started, but maybe a month after or something, people started to discover that Robo-Shieldatrons were just by themselves. You could just make a castle of pure Robo-Shieldatrons and it would kill everybody because they were so strong. They moved 3 times as fast as they move now. They did 3 times as much damage and they were still as tanky as they are now. It was disgusting. At that same time, that was when people were using puppeteer pulls, but there was no max 40 leash range. So basically you could aggro something. If the entire castle was in a U, you could aggro something in the first room, and it would aggro into the boss room, and it would start coming around and resurrecting things. Or you could aggro something behind you more than 40 meters. They would hide one puppeteer, and it would start resurrecting the entire dungeon as it was coming, because back then they didn't have to make eye contact and all of this sort of thing. Some crazy exploits in the game back then. So you would get to the end of the castle, you would kill the boss room, and then the door wouldn't open, and you'd start to go back, and you'd realize that there was 200 skeletons behind you that you had to kill. Oh man. Good times. Very frustrating times. Because you would do an entire castle and then you would get timed out because there was one puppeteer that you missed. Alright, so these two derps, I'm actually not sure what room this is right now. Is it the... yeah, it's the T-junction room. Okay. The two derps kind of threw me off a little bit because normally there's only one. I'm actually interested because this one wasn't connected to this group, so I need to see how this all works here. What I'm thinking is that one of these groups has to be skippable at this point, but I'm not sure. I won't be able to test from here, but it seems like if one group is here and it's aggroed that way, and one group is here and it's aggroed this way, whichever side I don't have to go through, I should be able to skip. So I can't really tell, but I think it's like this side that I might have been able to skip. Nonetheless, usually I just go through castles and kill everything, but if I managed to like fail your castle and I wanted to do it over again, I would go through and I would skip this group. If it's possible, I'm not 100% sure. But I think I could skip that first group that I pulled in this room, or actually no, this group. The one that was this derp and it pulled into this, the Pete Poundmore group, I think I would be able to skip this by just going around this way, which is the correct way to go through your castle. Alright, this is a little bit scary. I have to get out of this room. Once they all group together, it'll be fine. It's going to be kind of interesting to put groups like this in, and then to be able to really punish corners. Like right now you can punish corners by having one trap there, but if I could have like 3 traps here, so you literally cannot stand in this corner waiting for these archers, it would change the entire dynamic in attacking. I'm going to have to like relearn attacking as well.
Can't take much more of this.
Alright, so Captain Club, and she's actually going to be kind of difficult for me because he's my level. Whenever, like, bosses are pretty well balanced before they rank up, but their ranking up is when they become kind of weak. So, like, at the level you gain a boss, usually they're pretty decent. And I just wasted that smite because I don't actually know his abilities. I kind of know. When he has that swirl around him, I think he's invulnerable. Like right now, he absorbs everything. But he can also use that Lashing Flames thing. And he will when he powers up like that. But yeah, I think I'd use a potion or 2 on him, so... If you walk to the side, you'll dodge it almost every time. Alright, and then there's that. Okay. Pretty good castle. We'll jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, lastly we have TicXu, castle level to 25. I'm gonna jump into it and see what he's got.
Watch and learn.
Alright, so this is a very weird group to me. It's only got 6 points. Okay, there's the rest of the points. Your IMAX definitely comes a little late to the party, I would say. Everything else is kind of dead. I mean, it really doesn't matter because there's not much else there. I mean, the Vamp is the only thing that could really deal damage. That's at least somewhat of a threat where I would have to probably kill it before I kill the IMAX. So he might get 1 or 2 extra shots while I'm killing the Vamp. And then you can see the Mine is actually making the Stairmaster get hung up a little bit with his teleport. As well as, you know, I can block the shot basically. If I stand in between here, I can use, you know, volley over this, but the Hungerbot and the Stairmaster won't be able to attack me because the Mine will obscure their vision. So probably remove the mines there if you're going to use ranged units. I could just aggro this by using a volley, but then I would have liked to have a volley here. It's alright. Okay. I think I can volley into here as well. Nope. Ah, that was so bad. I was trying to dodge that the hunger bot, but the vamps got on the wrong side of me and I wasn't able to walk through them. Oh, it was probably better for me to just go over the trap again anyway. How much damage do these things do? Alright, that's reasonable. I was gonna say maybe the Raising Hell Puppeteer isn't that great. I mean, they all get one-shot volley, that's the only bad thing about them. Sometimes the Dr. Skulls can live through it, but I think it's alright. Because a lot of the times they'll die anyway, the Dr. Skulls ones will. So, I think it's okay. If you don't mind not having that 3-point support, you know. A lot of people like having Puppeteers as a support unit. And when I use them on Raising Hell, I kind of think of them more as an attacking unit. Because they're made to deal damage at that point. Alright, well this is Dr. Skull. I'm going to end up being able to one-shot volley him because I'm high level. Or at least come close to it. He walked out of the volley range, but... Could be better if I'm lower level. Or it might be that your Dr. Skull is a little bit too close to this group, or that there's just no Defendatron on him, because a lot of the times people use Defendatrons to keep him alive longer. Like this. This is similar to what you would do, normally. And I kind of have to get in the middle of it and headshot, and then I have to get close to him, and I take more damage because of that. So I like the Defendatron version a lot better. Especially if you can have one group preceding it that makes a lot of corpses for you. Which I think that's going to be almost impossible after free creation, because I don't know how you would pull through the wall to be able to get that secondary group. A lot of things are going to change. I'm just constantly trying to think about, you know, exactly what's going to happen and what the new like meta will be, you know. So this long tunnel thing, I really, like, I never have used this room, ever, because I just don't like it. There's so much vision that you give the hero. I mean, I can see so far up in here to see exactly what's coming. It's okay to use with Zeeks, I guess. But as long as you're good at timing them out, it's not too terribly difficult. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much vision, I don't really have any fear of anything coming at me. When they teleport behind you, though, it's a little bit more difficult because the, you know, shots are coming up through the skill bar again, which is ideal for you, but it's not really something you can control. And I can just rotate if I really needed to, but I knew I'd be able to kill it kind of quickly because I'm over-leveled. Alright, and then we have the boss room. That's interesting. You have a Mittens with a ton of Stairmasters. The problem with having this big of a room is, if you noticed what I did there, is I kept so much range in between me and the Stairmasters that I was able to volley, and because they hadn't really gotten close enough to me to activate their AI, I guess, they weren't really going to teleport, so they all kind of just died in the volley. That won't necessarily always happen for people that are your level, because they should be able to survive a volley, I think. It's kind of close, but I think they can survive a volley. So this is number 3. So we're going to end the video here. As always, if you guys enjoyed, please subscribe. We're not taking requests for viewer castles right now, but I'm going to be, you know, opening that back up closer to when open beta comes out. With a little bit more restriction, probably a level cap on when I actually do it, because with the influx of new players because of open beta, I have to at least be able to stay caught up somewhat, so that is probably what I'm going to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.